Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well, and today I'm going to be talking about the Airbnb IPO that's coming to the stock market. There seems like a lot of demand to talk about this, so I thought I'd give it a go and have a bit of a talk about the Airbnb IPO that is coming, and if it's a good chance to make some good return on this IPO. Now, I actually did make a video about Airbnb about 3 months ago before the IPO, saying it's going to be a very interesting one. I think there'll be quite a bit of a demand for it, but when I actually did that video, it actually didn't do that well. So I was really surprised to see there was a lot of comments like suggesting to do this video. So, prove me wrong, smash that like button and let's get a lot of views on it. So we'll see what happens. So I have got a video recorded that was supposed to come out today, which was my UK portfolio, but that will come out now tomorrow. So yeah, that has been filmed, recorded and edited, but I thought I'd sneak this in before the IPO rather than coming out on the day of the IPO, so you kind of know a little bit in advance with what my opinions going into this. And I've also got a link in the description for a Freedom24 account. Now, this account will allow you to actually buy the IPO at the IPO price, which, funny enough, has just been raised, so it seems like there's a lot of demand out there for it. Rather than actually buying it on the day on a broker like Trading 212, for example, where more than likely they're going to crash and probably end up putting your trade in 5 hours too late and totally for the wrong price. So you might want to give that one a go. Like I say, you can buy it at the actual IPO price, not the Trading 212 price, which always seems to go wrong at the moment. Link is in the description, so if you do want to set up an account and buy this IPO, join through that link. But smash the like button, subscribe if you're around here, and we'll take a look at Airbnb IPO. So the Airbnb IPO is supposed to happen tomorrow. And really quickly, if you have never heard of Airbnb, basically it's a rental online market, a little bit different from your likes of Expedia, for example, because what it does is it actually lets the landlords, for example, advertise their property on Airbnb. You can go online and you can directly rent that property for a certain amount of time from them. And that's pretty much how Airbnb works, and it's pretty much a worldwide company now. A lot of markets, a lot of countries it is in. A little bit of a back history on the company itself. It does have a lot of growth. Obviously, 2020 has not been a great year, and that's probably why because of the COVID, and that's probably why they've delayed the IPO. But previously, it has grown massive amounts of revenue. It has slowed down a little bit, but when I say slow down, it's still putting massive amounts of revenue growth of like 30% revenue growth on there. And even recently on Q3, it did produce a profit as well, which was really good to see. I think it wanted to do it did a lot of cost cutting, and I think it wanted to go into its IPO saying, look, hey, we can make profit. So yeah, it did have a profitable Q3. And obviously it's been rough 2020, but previously to that, the revenue growth has been fantastic, and I'm sure it will come back strong for this company. And you can see why this company is going to do so well. Now, it does currently do about 4.7 billion in revenue, and the stock is going to come onto the stock market with a raised price target now of $56 to $60. So it is coming on a hefty sort of price. That puts it at about a 42 billion valuation. So when we look at the revenue to the valuation side of it, it is now a little bit more of an expensive side of it, I would say, when you look at that sort of point of view. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to talk about two different points of view with this IPO. So I'm going to talk about a short-term point of view, and then I'm also going to talk about a long-term hold point of view, which obviously is more for me because I look at stocks from a long-term point of view. But hey, if I do think a stock is undervalued, I might take that punt. Normally, I do not tend to buy IPOs until 9 months after the IPO, just because of the lockup period, and stocks or IPOs tend to come down a little bit there. Let's be realistic. If you're taking your stock to the stock market, more than likely they're not going to get underpriced when they put them on the stock market. So it is a little bit tricky to get a kind of bargain. But nevertheless, I do think there's going to be some excitement with a big company, with a really profitable, a big, massive revenue growth company coming here. There is going to be some excitement here. Now, I'm going to say the little negative is that they have risen the price that they're coming onto the stock market. It would have been better, in my opinion, if they did keep that lower valuation. And let's not forget, this company only got valued something around 18 billion at April time. So that is a hefty jump to go up to the valuation that it's offering right now. So yeah, I mean, a 42 billion valuation compared to what it was valued at April is kind of crazy. But from a short-term point of view, and I'm talking, a week, 2 weeks, I can see some excitement with this company, and I can see it going up. I did think it was going to have a good 30% jump when it came onto the stock market. Now that it's a little bit higher, I'm like, that might not have, I don't think that will help it as much as what it was going to do, but nevertheless, I do think there'll be a lot of excitement around this IPO, and probably when the stock IPOs, I do see the stock jumping a little bit from its open, but not too much at that valuation. And for me, when I do look at this from a short-term point of view, I think the risk of how much it's valued at and the excitement levels, I'm not willing to take that risk, in my opinion, right now. If it was the lower valuation side of it, I might be tempted to have a little bit of a short term, see how this goes on it. And, if it does go a little bit wrong, I thought, I don't mind holding this company for a long term. And that's something I don't normally like to do. I don't like to get into these IPOs straight away. I like to wait for 9 months afterwards. Now, from a long-term point of view, where this is where I'm more comfortable myself coming into it, is that normally a lot of IPOs tend to go up, especially when they're at decent valuations, and then eventually they sink down about 9 months after the IPO. And that's sometimes where I'm like, now have we got a good opportunity to buy a company at cheap prices? I don't want to be buying a great company, which Airbnb is. I think, in my opinion, Airbnb is a great company, but I don't want to be buying a great company at a fair valuation, and I don't want to be buying Airbnb or a great company at an overvalued valuation. At the end of the day, I'm not here to buy great companies. I'm here to buy great companies at cheap prices and make money. That is the key thing. There's plenty of great companies out there, but if you're buying great companies at big prices, you're probably going to limit your returns. The key is to get great assets at undervalued prices. So I'm looking at Airbnb, and it's a great company, but I've got to make sure I pay, if I'm going to get into it, the right valuation. And this valuation is a pretty fair valuation. It's not overvalued in my opinion, but it's definitely a fair valuation, and that's what doesn't sit with me. Now, normally what I like to do is get companies when the IPO, when they do dip slightly. So some little examples for this is, I personally didn't get on this one, but one of the big standout ones historically that I know about is Facebook. Originally, Facebook came to the stock market and it lost about half its value after its IPO. A bit of excitement, and eventually it sunk down. People said that Facebook, back in, I think it was like 2012 when it IPO'd, people were saying Facebook can't keep up this growth. Now, funny enough, we can look back in that in 2020 and say that was a crazy couple of people that were saying that. But that dip on Facebook is something big. That was a great company that went to cheap prices, and nowadays, if you look back on it, you probably made over 1,000% on it. But recently there's been a few ones for myself as well. So Pinterest is one. Pinterest came onto the stock market. Eventually, a few months afterwards, it dipped after its IPO. I came in at that point when I saw that great company at a cheap price. And there we go, made, I'm up about 250% on that one right now. So that's more than what I'm looking to do. So like I say, on the short term side of it, I do think there could be a little bit of a jump, but not crazy amounts, because like when I say, I think it's a bit of a fair valuation right now. So I do believe there will be some hype there, but not enough at this valuation for me to buy in the short term. But for the long term point of view, the side that I want to get into, I'm looking at this company and thinking, it's a great company, but the valuation is just a bit too much. So I'm kind of hoping this does a bit of a Pinterest, a bit of a hype on the launch, and then 9 months later, the lockup kicks in, the excitement goes, and we see that share price, where it's coming onto the stock market for, like $56, $60. If I can see that stock then start to dip a little bit from here, get below $40, 9 months after this IPO, that is probably where I'd be a bit more interested. So at the moment, I'm not probably going to get involved with the IPO, but I will keep it on my watch list and see if that great company does come to a cheap valuation, and then I might go in. But that's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you think about this company coming on the stock market. I just think for the valuation that you're paying up, it is a little bit too much for a great opportunity in my opinion. But if you do want to get involved, remember the link is in the description for a Freedom 24 account, and you can get into the IPO if you want to buy it there. I think it does, the entry to get into the IPO does expire by 10 hours after this video going up, so you do need to be nice and quick if you are going to get in here and get involved in it. So just thought I'd let you know, but I'll definitely be watching it when it does come onto the stock market and seeing how it's doing. So smash the like button if you are new, subscribe, and I'll see you next video.